Hi, y'all. Thanks for coming back to my website. My website, of course, dealing with Emmanuel Macron is the Antichrist.info. If you haven't been there, that would be a great place to start. But today I would like to talk about something involving the United Nations and Babylon. Uh, I mentioned before on my site and on other videos that for many, many years, 43 years actually, I used to believe that the Roman Catholic Church was going to be Babylon that was mentioned in the Bible, Babylon the Great. And in the book of Revelation, it talks a lot about the world system called Babylon. Um, I have to say that I've also did a video on Donald Trump. He seems to be in a lot of trouble right now with the Epstein files. But I used to really love Donald Trump. I mentioned that anytime someone would say to me that Donald Trump is a liar, I would always respond by saying, "Oh, yeah, tell me one thing that he's lied about." And I never got a good answer, a good reply to that question. So I used to really love and respect Donald Trump. But to be honest with you, I would not ask that same question today to anyone, and I won't say any more about that. But I bring that up because, as I said, I used to teach and believe that Babylon, the Roman Catholic Church, was Babylon. And I sort of got a prompting from the Holy Spirit to kind of shy away from that a little bit. And I started to lean toward the UN in New York City as Babylon. Obviously, for one reason is because there's so many languages at the UN. It's like they all speak in one voice, sort of like the Tower of Babel, um, of course, through their interpreters in the UN. And I also mentioned that I was looking at the return of the New Age movement. Now, when I first got saved in the early 80s, the New Age movement was really big. I used to get many books on the New Age movement, and they all talked about the Antichrist. They all talked about the one world religion, the New World Order, and all that, and they had a lot of great things to say. And I was engrossed in learning more about the New Age movement. But as I said, with the UN uh, back in the picture in reference to Babylon from the Bible, I started to lean toward the UN and involved in the UN with this whole Babylon thing is the Order of the New Age movement. It's sort of making a comeback. And I just read a story today about a thing called the Religions of the World Unite. And I read the article. It's kind of hard for me to read a long article because I have attention deficit disorder, like many of y'all. And it's really hard for me to read long stories. But anyway, this particular story was right up my alley. It was talking about the New World Order. It was talking about all the religions uniting. And it even mentioned the name Alice Bailey. And she was one of the people that I read a lot about back in the 80s because she was one of the New Age movement leaders. And she's back in the story in print right now with the UN and the teachings of the UN around the world about globalism and uniting all of these religions. So if you're like me, you love stories that back up what you think. So I love this story. I'll try to put the link in here for that story. But again, it's leaning toward the UN. It's leaning toward the UN as Babylon. and also bringing back the New Age movement. If you're not familiar with the New Age movement, they teach that anyone and anything is God, is sort of like pantheism, uh, but anything or anyone could be God except Jesus. Uh, so that should tell you what we're in store. Well, not we, but the people from the tribulation period are in store if the UN is Babylon and the New Age movement is going to be the new world religion, which I think it will be. So keep an eye on that, and I'll get back to you with more stories if this continues to prove me right, because I love stories that prove me right. Okay?